All right, and
Good
now we
morning.
can begin because Sean Fuller has joined live, not by AI note taker. So that's all good. And Anthony is joining us. Young is joining us from his bed where he's recovering from knee surgery. So how about that? I just made that a public thing.
That's
It's
all
good.
good.
It's a Good Friday. It is. It's
Well,
Good
let's.
Friday, and it's Friday, and it's good, right?
I'm recovering from a
What
three
happened to you?
bicep lateral tear, forearm lateral tear, and nerve
Oh
ulnating.
God.
Yeah.
How did that all happen?
Um, it's called an 80-pound boxer who ran through my arm and snapped it off the bone.
Oh,
Ooh,
geez.
ooh.
Shit.
Yeah.
Is that your
Sean, that
drinking
looks
arm?
painful.
Is
I'm
that your
actually doing
drinking
pretty
arm?
good.
How's the bourbon?
I haven't. That's tonight. I had to wait 2 days to get the pain meds. So
Yes,
today's
yes.
my last day. It's only day 3, but it's been pretty good so far. So yeah.
All right. Well, I'm glad you're here. There's just a lot to talk about. We have a small group here, and it is a Good Friday, as I mentioned. So there's a lot of people who are off and couldn't make it, but we're doing it anyway. Um, yeah, there's just been a lot going on in terms of. I think when we last met, the news had just broke that Sazerac was acquiring Garrett County. Um, since then, I've word is that there's another wave of layoffs, including at Bardstown, where I was just visiting there, and so that's it's all part of the readjustment, which from I never we never like to see layoffs, um, but the reality most of these layoffs are in production and distilling, which is really the you know what's the message. It's not so much that product isn't still in demand. It's just that there is so much of it, and that's been the issue, especially when it comes to bourbon. That it's really they don't that nobody's laying down speculative, and ultimately it's going to help to have pricing recover. And I shared some things on LinkedIn that got some comments this month. But I have been saying in 2 years you're not going to be able to find 2 year, and the reality is you can keep playing and saying in 5 years you're not going to find 5 year, and that's all part of resetting the pricing in the market. Um, and I don't know if anybody has had a chance to read what we shared about how we're addressing um, pricing of wholesale of barrels. Has anyone read that yet?
I have
None of
not.
you. Okay, well, read it because it's kind of we spent a lot of time over the past couple of months building, with Claude's help, building a way to um, take the guesswork out of what something is worth, and it's never going to be exact science, but it is about a way where we're pulling in data sources from different areas to create what we're now calling the victory real value score. And it's a number that, it will change because we're going to be updating that, at least monthly, if not weekly. It depends on when we get more data that's, significant. And a lot of the data that's in there, it's confidential, so we're not disclosing the sources, and it's not no one's. It's the raw data is not available. It's just the anyway. So I would appreciate anybody, especially Anthony. It's up your alley. To take a look at that and see how we're positioning it and give me some feedback so that
Yeah, I
we
sure will later today. Michael,
yeah,
thank you for doing all that
yeah.
work too, by the way.
Yeah. So, and if you have any questions, issues, there are some still little hiccups because when you dream big, there's things that break.
Mhm.
So, but fortunately, we can get them fixed. Anyway, with that, why don't we? you know, Ethan is new to drinks professionals. He and I had a chat the other day. We crossed paths in earlier this month, or I guess it was last month, in Kentucky. But he's kind of, and not to dominate the topic here, but he's kind of looking at the same piece that I'm been looking at, which is how does data help to improve the knowledge and potentially help in terms of understanding the value of aging liquid. So I don't, this isn't about doing a sales pitch, but I think, Ethan, if you want to share just a little bit about what you've been up to as you try to take it to the next step. And I did, by the way, mention it to Tom, who initially said, I don't know, I don't think we met with him. He goes, oh, wait, yeah. So I encouraged him to revisit it and told him that I would be supportive as an owner of barrels that are there. So anyway, so now that I've taken all the go for it.
I appreciate it, Michael. Well, pleasure to meet everyone. So yeah, we've been working on a project called Barrel Sense for the last few years now, with the idea of if you could have a better sense of what was going on around the barrel, could you have better data and insights to help optimize yield, help to detect leaky casks, but also just have a larger grip on that data provenance. And what we've really learned in the last few years of deploying sensors in warehouses is that this data becomes valuable from a warehouse intelligence perspective. So whether you're a investor and owner of barrels and want to know how your various barrels are performing by understanding the different climates and the microclimates within the warehouses, or you're the brand trying to better understand how both flavor and yield develop across your warehouse portfolio, the environmental conditions within a warehouse drastically can change and alter that. So by deploying an array of sensors, right now we have 60 sensors in a 42,000 barrel warehouse. We can split that warehouse up into over 60 different microzones that the barrels that are within that are affiliated to, and we can see the differences of yield and flavor. And now when you have the barrel information, the mash bill information, the where it was stored, how many uses was that barrel, if it's a single malt or a finishing product, you now have that complete lineage and can start applying heavier analytics and correlations and models on top of it. So it's really exciting to see how can that data help drive the value of barrels, but also in some ways help almost provide a real insurance in many ways of actually understanding if your barrel is aging in an optimal environment to drive the highest yield or the highest extraction rates out of the barrel. So that's really what our mission is providing that net new data, but then providing the tools to bring it all together in a analytics platform.
All right, and I think it's cool, but I know that not everyone on this call is focused on barrel aging, but it's important. Anthony, have you had any experience with data of that level?
No, none at all. No.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's some pretty impressive direction. I think it's warranted for sure. Who wouldn't want to save another, 10, 20, 30, 40% of their product that they're making, over
Right.
time, obviously. So I think that there could be a market for that for sure.
Well, and I think, the thing that intrigues me, I in the past have looked at, it just wasn't cost effective, but have looked at actual barrel sensors that, are able to measure specifically that, a barrel. So in a perfect world, you'd have every one of your barrels with a sensor, but that's cost prohibitive. But if you had, at least a couple from every lot, and it would measure not just volume, but it actually can run some sensory monitoring as the juice is aging and the wood is having a greater impact. So
Yeah, Ari was really big on that a couple of years ago, but I don't think we ever did anything with it.
because it was like $5 a month per barrel.
Yeah.
Um, and I know that sounds like petty, but if it's 1,000 barrels,
Yeah.
It adds up very fast.
yeah, trust me, I get storage bills that now cost that, and it's like, what? Why do we have a bill for $12,000? It used to be 2,000. Oh, the rate raise.
Yeah.
Oh, the insurance is now more because it's older.
Hmm.
Anyway, Sean, what's new from your perspective besides getting set to recuperate?
Well, I mean, last time we talked, it was kind of up in the air about where my professional career was going in. So, I unofficially have an official position that so hopefully be getting an offer today.
Oh,
Awesome.
I'll, I'll be back.
Congratulations.
good for
Yeah,
you.
I'll be back in the bourbon game.
Huh.
Good.
Yeah.
Without disclosing details. So you'll be in sales, and is it regional,
Yeah.
national?
Yeah, running the Western United States, so primary 9 states. Um, Trying to get them back on traction. They're aligned with national distributor, so that's good and one that I'm familiar with, and I have their previous rosters, so that always helps. And
Oh,
the
that's
actual
good.
a couple of the brand TDMs are actually people that I'm very familiar with, so that's even better. So one of them I moved up the ranks with at Southern, and the other was my assistant brand manager when I was representing R6. So that's good.
Nice. Well, good
Yeah.
for you. Congratulations. Hope it closes on
Yeah.
plan.
So do I. It's been actually the funny thing. It's been 8 months, and I was the only person that they were moving forward with.
Oh, wow.
Really?
Yeah,
Wow.
it's been one of the hardest processes, but I'm
Better late
excited.
than never.
Yeah.
Well,
Hey, I'm if better than not being an 8-year-old
We
bourbon, right?
lost
That would
you.
have been a long time.
right, right.
Or did everyone else lose me? Am I
Well,
lost or is he lost?
maybe that's it. They were waiting for the bourbon to be ready for you. So yeah.
I'm
Hey,
lost.
other than that, though, I think
Hello?
you. Am I still there?
I hear you,
Yeah.
Carrie.
Yeah.
Oh, um, I think the state
Can
of
anyone hear
them.
me?
Yeah, we can
Yes.
hear you.
Carrie, we hear you.
Yes.
Do you not hear us? Yeah.
Carrie looks like she's
She
a
doesn't hear
lost
us.
little puppy out in
I
the
better go
wilderness.
to chat. I better go to the chat channel.
Um, I don't really have very much to say other than what some of the information I gathered from WSWA last month and what the wholesalers are really coming out and saying, but I don't know if that's really appropriate. It's kind of it's a consensus from a lot of brands. If you're thinking that you're going to come to market and you're going to utilize the distributor to get your points of distribution, you're failing your brand, you're failing the distributor, you're you're failing the consumer. Um, they want you to invest in people in the streets, and if you're not going to do that, there's no leverage, there's no position from them. You know, I think
Well,
there's like
and I don't think that's news. Ask
no,
any
but
smaller producer over the past 10 years.
yeah,
And although they might have felt the love because, there were distributors saying we need more craft brands in the
I couldn't hear
portfolio.
anybody.
But the reality is when the reality sets in, they're going to
yep,
focus on the brands that sell themselves.
yep.
They're not going to focus on the brands that need to be introduced because it's too much work.
Well, I think the other side of it is that with everyone downsizing and like Southern getting rid of their, craft, they still have their craft development division, but it's kind of that you just got merged into the full portfolio now. That you have a brand development manager, you have management teams that are around it, but ultimately that's just splitting and dividing. But they just
Right.
told like Arizona, I know there's a couple of hundred brands that were just told, hey, you can either choose to stay with us or you can choose to go find another distribution partner. And there's no other distribution partners that are taking anyone on. So if you didn't accept just to be used as, all you're doing is using their trucks for delivery and their warehouse for picking. But there's no pricing, no programming, no elements. Like get your best pricing at case one. Bottle deals is probably the best thing you'll ever get out of them, and route to market. And that's the consensus from a few brands that I know that are even aligned with the big distributors. They're even coming out and saying what space you hold on the floor isn't justifying when another brand is selling, 20 pallets and you're a one pallet hold bank inside of a warehouse and you don't even sell a flat in 60 days. You got to know your own ownership of what value you bring to that distributor. And I think, everyone wants their brand to be the best, but ultimately you have to have some type of you have to have a check and balance in yourself.
Well, you have to have an effective marketing support infrastructure and all the pieces that requires, and that requires money.
Sure does.
Anyway, yes, it does require money. Vanessa has joined us from the forest, or from an aloe plant. I don't know what's going on there.
In my beautiful pajamas, what I say.
Lovely. Well, it was lovely for you to get out of bed for.
Are you still on vacation?
No, unfortunately not. I was working so much. So today is Good Friday, so I say I'll just take it easy today. I'm just getting breakfast now.
Good for you. All right. Well,
Nice.
take care of yourself on a Good Friday.
I was
Ernesto,
sick for a whole week.
I know, a whole week. You've taken a whole week off?
No, I was sick last week.
Oh.
So I said, let me take some time. Just, you got to take it easy. I think to change up my weather.
I've heard that your Black Mama chai tea vodka is good for what ails you.
Yeah.
I've heard it. I've actually taken that remedy myself, and it worked. Yeah.
You and a couple of people. That's why I'm out of it. I
Ah,
gotta
awesome.
okay. I haven't had it in a while. It's probably been a couple of years, but yeah.
I haven't seen that one.
Does that mean that it helps people with broken arms, or I think there was somebody else with a broken leg over there?
Yeah, well, Anthony's got a knee. Yeah,
It'll ease the pain.
We need a medicinal order. Ernesto, I need to ask you some questions about tequila.
Sure. Good morning, buenos dias.
So, good morning. How are you?
Pretty good, thank you.
Good. So I got a pitch the other day from a competitive group. They didn't know it was me. They were pitching. That is offering investors the opportunity to invest in aging tequila barrels. And my question to you, is there a market for that? And I thought everything you've said recently is that, the agave is so inexpensive now that producers can't even sell it. So they're, creating their own brands and bringing them to market. So I just was curious what your take was on that particular market, and is it viable?
Yes, it is. I've come across some people also that are doing that. It's like I imagine the pitch was that they're gonna, they've got agave on the cheap, turning it into liquid, and then paying the distillery space rental fee to get the product, saved. I think somebody like you guys, most of the people here in the group that have barrels, if you take your own barrels to the distillery, and you're making this super cheap juice, well made, just it's cheap because the agave is inexpensive. There is a market for it because right now the tequilas that are inexpensive are the blancos, right? If you put anything in a barrel for any good amount of time, anything more than the minimum 2 months, 6 months, 9 months, stuff like that, you could still sell that for a premium. And then, needless to say, there are the añejos or an extra añejo right now.
For 3 years. So extra
3 years
after 3. So
absolutely, yeah. Yeah,
What
yeah.
do you have a sense of what the value is of a
What the
añejo?
what the cost is to store?
No, I couldn't figure out, but what the market, what the price point would be that someone would, if they were buying it, because there's the issue. There's what's the cost and how does that play into cost of goods, and as opposed to just how much can we, you know,
Right.
get. That's what happens in bourbon.
I believe the displacement on that is the same as what the shelf cost is, right, Ernesto?
How is that?
I mean, if you take a skew of Blanco at $43.99, and then you're a $3 price point difference, you can kind of come out to what that barrel would cost, right, for a Repo or a Nejo, just by the price difference of each skew. I mean,
No, not well, a little bit, but not
yeah,
necessarily. Just because they got like I've got a project going on right now, and it's literally here on my desk in my notes. Um, I have agave. So right now we've got agave it's going to go into one of the distilleries that we work with, and they're going to turn it into juice for us. Basically for what is that? For $2 a liter.
yeah,
$2 a liter. Okay.
Yeah. So I mean, and we could literally pick that up and bottle it and everything, bring it over, and that Blanco is, can technically be $20.99 to $19.99 on the shelf. That's why you see these super super ridiculous prices on tequila right now. But to put it into the barrel and let it sit there for that amount of time, that's where I think that's where the pitch that you got came into play. And that's when the reposados, like an extra right now we are playing for our extra for just the juice, we're up around we are at about about 60 $60 a liter of extra añejo. So it's a big difference of you've got agave, pay to make it juice. You send again, if you guys send your own barrels to the distillery, the storage isn't that much per month, right? And then you wait, wait a year, if you can wait 3 years, it's it is a good business. It is a good business model still, even right now.
Yeah, but now what
Sean,
about
you have a
gas?
question?
We got gas prices going up. Now transportation to send a barrel.
Well, that's the question. So legally, does it have to be aged in Mexico?
no.
Yeah, if you want it to be, yes.
Oh, if you want it to be.
It has to be so if you want it to be 100% agave, the whole process needs to be within denomination of origin.
Okay, so that would require barrels being shipped in there and stored there.
Yes.
Versus shipping a tote of tequila to where the barrels are.
Exactly.
Ernesto, you can put, that's the direction.
Correct.
Yeah. There you go.
Yeah, you could ship out so I was just a judge at the Los Angeles International Spirits Competition last week, and it was really interesting. One of the finalists, maybe you guys that are on the East Coast have seen it. I do I have a picture of it. It was a tequila that was 99% agave and 1% other. So it was technically a mixto.
It's a mixto.
It's a mixto. They brought it over in a tote, and then they bottled it in. Where did they bottle it? It was really, really interesting. So it was a 2-year añejo. They bottled it somewhere in New Jersey or something like that, and then they put it in a barrel, and they put it on a ship or something up and down the coast.
Yep.
That sounds like
I don't know if anybody knows this brand.
Jefferson's. It sounds like Jefferson.
Yeah.
And it was
I,
like
I,
a bootlegging
And it's not
thing.
99% and then 1% mixed. It's all mixed though. Because you can't tell the differentiation of what's, as long as it's over 50%, it's a mixed
51.
though.
Correct.
Yeah, after
Yeah,
51. So I don't
absolutely.
think it was 99%. Maybe.
It said on the label. It did say on the label, but since it was a mixto, it did not have a NOM number on it. There was CRT was not involved. They sent a tote of a mixto. According to the label, it was a mixto 99%. I said, okay, that's fine, And it was a high proof 50. It was also out of the norma in the proof. It was 56 ABV. So also anything over 55 cannot be called tequila anyway. So
Did it taste good?
It was really good. It got best agave spirit of the competition. It was a winner.
As agave spirit, not as a tequila.
No, because it was overproof for the tequila. It was 56% ABV.
Interesting.
I've seen the agave spirits are actually, there's one out here in California called Ola.
Yeah.
And it's made from the agave wine.
You're in California, Sean?
Yeah.
Where you at?
NorCal.
Oh, you're in NorCal. Okay.
Yeah. But I know I interviewed with the brand and they were wanting me to.
Okay, I found it. It's called Captain Webster's.
Oh yeah, Captain Webster's. I read about that.
Añejo Agave Spirit. It says distilled in Jalisco, Mexico, matured in Washington, D.C.
Yep.
And Pittsburgh. This barrel, 99% Blue Weber Agave Spirit, was manufactured for over 2 years matured over 2 years in a first fill rye whiskey barrel. Traveled up the Atlantic coast to Washington, D.C. They were spirited away to Western Pennsylvania, recreating the smuggler's route.
Hey,
it was
they created the story.
Yes, that's it.
That's right.
They created the story.
56.2% ABV.
Hey, Michael, you could store it in the U.S. and call it the Victory Mile.
That's right.
Right.
I want a little partial residual off that name.
Too bright, right? You guys can't see that label.
You know what? I think it's high oak. There you go. Okay. I think it's high time that we actually created a product together, this group.
Absolutely.
Right, and brought it to
and
market.
And you guys know I've got everything that's needed. I got that company in Guadalajara. That's what we do. We
let's do it. Let's do it. So
right.
And then right now we've got a bunch of agave. I've got right now I've got 50,000 plants that are ready to go, 6-year-olds, and they're starting to throw the quiote.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, it's kind of awesome, but not because it's they're ready to go and it's not worth anything. I can't sell it, so I am gonna turn it in. That's why I have these notes literally on my desk, because I'm like, okay, we got to turn this into juice. 600 tons basically of agave.
600 tons. All right. Well, I think this is a project we can definitely work on, because I can start peddling the barrels. I can also put it in front of investors to finance.
Exactly. Yeah.
And then as long as we can make a case that the economics are there, and based on that, it's
we would have to see like what Vanessa was saying about shipping, because I know you guys have access to barrels.
Yeah.
So to ship a truckload of barrels, I think they could fit 200. I've seen before
288, because I was getting a quote yesterday.
Perfect. There you go. I wasn't too far off. Yeah, you could ship 280. That's a lot of barrels. It's a lot of juice.
Was and in terms of barrels, so used bourbon.
It's basically if this is, we're obviously talking about a project. It's you want your juice, your tequila to be aged in this barrel, that barrel. It could all be single barrels, all individually. Whatever barrels you guys have access to. And bottle them individually. Okay, this is this barrel, this is barrel, this is this barrel, and that's
but
what people
wait a minute. I'm confused here, because it's just I import mixto.
Right.
Yeah. So why not just bring the tote in
Yeah, and do
and
it
then
yourself.
barrel it here
Yeah, and
or
control it.
wherever. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. It don't need to go up and down the East Coast. Just bring in the,
Doesn't need to go on a cruise.
right.
Well,
So
wouldn't it
it's
even
just
be
easier
more
to bring the
fun?
tote in, and because it's coming in anyway, then I can do what I want to do with it, and then just barrel it if I want to at
Yeah.
entry proof at 121 or something, whatever. You know what I
The
mean?
di- the reasoning or the difference would be if you want to use the gnome on the label and 100% agave.
Right.
But you can't even use 100% agave because it's mixed up. That's what I'm saying. They didn't
No, but
use.
that's that.
No, but if you barrel it and bottle it there, you can absolutely.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So that would be the difference.
And then I can make something. I can make something with it and blend it. That's how I have my tequila blends, and still barrel it and make better shit than what's out there
Mm.
and sell it for a high price.
All right. Well, that's true too.
Yeah.
It is about what the market will bear.
Right.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And a story.
Yeah. All right. So we're going to talk more about that because I got plenty of barrels.
There you go. Yeah, I can imagine.
And
Has anybody
I've
seen
also,
hey Michael?
Yep.
It was weird when we were talking about the with the tequila being aged miso and the direction. Has anyone seen any pulsing out there with brandy? Because it seems like brandy's starting to get some high value and mixability and blend.
Yeah.
Like
I
it's
make a yeah, because I make a brandy. I make
no,
the
you
Isley's
don't.
brandy.
No, you don't. I know
I
you
do. I
do.
make Ron Isley's brandy, which sells $85 a bottle. He's like moving. I've been doing it 2 years now. It's called Contagious. So I've
Yeah.
been in that space. I have 6 year barrels of brandy that I made, even more. I love brandy. So yeah, brandy.
Uh,
And I think the next thing will also be gin, because I'm seeing an uptick in gin for some reason. I
well,
make
I
a
think
rhubarb gin.
yeah, I think the gin is definitely exploding with more unique botanicals and flavors.
yeah.
But I was gonna say brandy. Brandy. It's it's all about European consumers who are here. Because that's brandy's the go-to in Germany, and you know
Yeah. Well, they're drinking
that's
it now with the cigar bars, and they're
yeah.
they're kind of like
Yep.
replacing it. I just happen to know, like we're in the black community, they've been doing the whiskeys, but now all of a sudden they starting to change to brandy with the cigar, But I've always loved brandy. It's always been a staple in my
Are they
family.
changing from the cognac to brandy?
Well, cognac is a brandy.
Yeah.
Speaking of
That's-
cigars,
What's that?
Yeah.
speaking of
Cohiba.
cigars,
Oh, you guys
There you
cigars
go.
now too?
yeah, buddy. Yeah, it's Cohiba Siglo 6
That's cool.
Cubans
Ah,
via
got the
Spain,
hookup.
so it's
Got the
legal.
hookup.
Yeah,
All right. I want to shout out to
I
Anello
got a,
from
I got a
Central
bunch of
Waters.
cigars on the
His
desk right
name
there.
is appearing on the screen. I don't see him. See what's going on in his world.
I'm here. First time joining you guys. I'm just listening.
All right. Why don't you do a little intro
Um,
so they know who you are?
Sure. My name is Anelo Malika. I'm the owner of Central Waters Brewing Company. We're located in central Wisconsin. We are going into our 29th year of business as a brewery and started into the distilling world a couple of years ago and started purchasing whiskeys from Michael here as well. So while we're producing
cool.
our own juice, we're also sourcing stuff. And as you guys were talking about brandy just now, I mean, I was gonna mention it. I am in Wisconsin. Wisconsin is the king of brandy. That's one of the most consumed spirits here. For a long
That's true.
time, I don't think we have to sign up any longer, but Corbel had two different loading docks one of them had a sign on it that said Wisconsin, and the other one said the other 49 states, and that was a for real thing. I saw the picture of it. So
That's funny.
brandy is a very, very popular spirit here, and I've actually been looking at trying to find a place, if anybody knows of a place to source, bulk brandy for RTDs. I am all ears, trying to find a good source for that.
Damn, you guys just started a new business for me.
Yeah.
Let me get my
right.
500
Absolutely.
gallons still up and running.
Yeah,
That's
there
all
you
I
go.
make is
We have the
brandy.
source. We have the source.
Yeah.
And I'll
Yeah.
list your barrels, and we'll
Mike
expand.
is gonna be my broker. Watch.
That's
I'm
right.
gonna sell it to him for one price, and then he gonna triple the price to somebody else.
I don't
Me.
triple.
Remember,
To
sourcing
me.
is not a
I don't
crime.
triple.
No.
I am all about transparency. Ask
Yeah.
Anello, did we get you great deals on stuff?
Oh yeah, we've done well in the bourbon space. For us, though, the bourbon space made a lot of sense because we've been doing bourbon barrel aged beers since 2001. So our customer base was already equates Central Waters Brewing Company to bourbon. So that's been a really easy transition, and we're actually launching next month. We're launching a bourbon canned cocktail as well. So we've had a lot of luck in that space, and we already have the equipment right for canning purposes since we're primarily a brewery.
I have a bourbon cocktail. I
I'm
don't know
sorry,
if
what's
it's
that?
still- I'm a distributor for a bourbon cocktail in a can, bourbon based.
Yeah.
I'll show you in a
It's not
second.
tequila.
No, it's
agave,
bourbon.
agave.
It's supposed to be a 6-year-old bourbon based, 5 flavors. I'll grab a can real quick. Sorry.
Now, Wisconsin, isn't that like no country? Dairy?
Yep.
Yes, the
Cheese.
dairy state. You got it.
Yeah.
Okay, because I know Tom Moss from Agave Loca, from Rum Chata, and before he sold it.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I know he's got something else going on up there too, some moo milk, something like that. So I know he gets
Yeah,
to
there's
do
another cream based liqueur out there, and the bottle looks like a milk can,
This is
like a
it.
old school milk bottle. Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
see it,
there's,
Vanessa.
is that
Your background is
that
okay. Yeah, now we
Tipsy
see it.
Cow? Is that what you have there? Tippy Cow. Okay,
Tippin'?
yep, that looks
Yeah,
it. That's the one.
Yeah, tipping cow.
Yep.
Rum cream. Yeah. So
Yep,
that's
I've seen it in the
selling in your
market around
market?
here now. Yep, I've seen it in the market.
Tippy
Oh,
cow.
okay.
Shouldn't it be tipsy cow?
You
It
can't
says
use this.
tipping cow.
I know, but it should be tipsy.
Tipsy Cow is already a brand that was in existence. Probably somebody has we used to sell it in Southern Arizona. It was created by 2 moms that were getting drunk in the middle of their foyer after their kids went to bed.
I need to open this. Yes, that's from Wisconsin. Okay.
See, even the stories will stick to you 10 years later. Yeah,
That's
I'm gonna have to
funny.
come up there. That's good to know. Is
I think
Wisconsin a good
Ernesto's gone
market?
to the, deep storage to find this.
Yes, Wisconsin is a good market for alcohol. That's something that we're well known for is alcohol consumption in this state, for better or for
Is it a
worse.
factor of climate?
Yeah, I
Long
mean,
winters?
considering last night, here it is April, and we got a huge ice storm, and there are still people without power. I had to shut the brewery down.
Oh my
yesterday
God.
because of ice, so,
I think that
that's something to do with it.
I used to visit the Green Bay area a bit for a client that I had, and I don't remember ever being colder. Even when I went to Anchorage, I wasn't that cold. It was January.
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't know. I think there might be someplace colder. I went to Alaska and I forgot the name of the place. Where the military base is.
Fairbanks?
Oh my God.
Yeah,
My
I have
suit
not been to
froze.
Fairbanks, but
My suit.
what is bouquet?
My soup
Oh, look
froze.
at this, colors too. All right, what has he got? We can't, we need, hold it back a little bit and we'll be able to see better, I think. Hold on, he's got cans falling.
What is that?
I can't read it.
He has to unmute himself or his face won't show up big on the
Yeah,
page.
unmute.
If you could see, how do I
There
do
we
this?
go.
Oh, yeah. Suburban life.
Yeah,
Oh,
Suburban
that's
Light.
cool.
I like that. Ah, and what are those flavors? Just different
Flavors. Okay, so this is Martini Espresso,
Uh-huh. Martini espresso.
and this was Margarita,
Uh-huh.
and this is Pink Lemonade,
Lemonade and bourbon. Ew.
Suburban, and this is Piña Colada.
Sorry. I thought it was on mute.
Huh.
Sean, you terrible.
We heard you. We heard you.
I know. I did. I was like, shit, I'm not on mute. But
Iced tea
pink
lemonade.
lemonade and bourbon, I don't know.
Yeah, so I mean, as a bourbon fan, I'm a little horrified, but
Yeah.
Okay, then I'm even more horrified. I actually
what's
like
the
it.
percentage of alcohol in those?
5.
You would like it, Carrie.
Yeah,
You
right,
like different stuff. Carrie would like that.
Carrie would like which flavors would you like him to ship?
I actually do like bourbon.
They're
lemonade.
out of New Jersey, so they're over there where you guys are, I think.
Oh, okay.
They were mentioned in
But,
BevNet. BevNet had a
versus-
little article on them, Michael.
What's that?
BevNet had an article on them.
Yeah.
Oh, they did?
Yeah,
Okay.
it was just a releasing article type of thing. But
So those are RTDs with bourbon. With
Yes.
what's the proof?
5. 10 proof. 5%.
5%. Oh,
Yeah.
that's a sugar drink for me. No
They come in a
alcohol.
4-pack.
They come in a 4-pack, yes.
Hmm.
How it tastes? Let's say you drink one down now. Let me stop. I'm just kidding.
It's 9:30 in the morning. It's
Okay.
So it's 5 o'clock
it's on
someplace.
somewhere.
Yeah, it says, and they're pretty good. Iced tea and lemonade with a touch of honey is this blue one.
Are they
Yeah, they're all right.
carbonated?
It is not.
That's good.
Non-carbonated, slightly. Say, I hate that I have to wear glasses.
But it's 5%.
Slightly sweetened, all natural ingredients, gluten-free. Water, bourbon, whiskey, sugar, honey, lime juice, natural flavors, tea extracts.
Is it bourbon, whiskey or bourbon whiskey?
It says bourbon whiskey.
Okay. I was like, find that loophole, right, Mike?
Yep. Which is
It was the
it
third-
did not get
it was the-
aged. It's
it was the
it's
third-
get
it
aged
was
in
the
a
third,
barrel, in a new barrel.
Third
It was the
ingredient.
third ingredient, right? The third or fourth ingredient.
First one
It's
was
water. It's the second one. Water, bourbon whiskey is number 2.
Okay. And then they added the tea to it. All
Yeah,
right.
sugar, honey, lemon juice, natural flavors, and then the tea. Made with 6-year-old bourbon, barrel aged bourbon.
No
They-
scent, no
they-
citric acid for preserve, or is it probably pasteurized?
acid. Citric
Oh, okay,
acid
because
for this
it's got to
one.
preserve it.
Yeah, they're a little bit different, I think. Yeah, each one is different. This is the piña colada. So water, bourbon, coconut water, sugar, pineapple juice, citric acid, natural flavors.
Hmm.
Yeah, they push it for day drinking, that you could drink these all day long and it's low alcohol, whatever.
Yeah, but if you drink 10 of those, you might as well.
Yes,
You know what I mean?
yeah.
You're getting sick. I think that's why. Was it Celsius? I don't know who's being sued. Somebody's being sued. What is? Do you guys recall somebody's being sued because people were drinking too much of it? Who was it? Allegedly.
I've forgotten already, but
I forgot, but they're being sued because people are drinking. They think that because it's
It's easy,
5%, you have
right.
other stuff that's in there as well.
right.
You know, you can't down 10 or 15 in a day.
Yeah, and it's doing pretty good at Total Wine. Got Total Wine orders for just that.
What's
Wow.
the price point?
Price point. Let's see. Case cost to Total Wine 69.
She's 69 what?
$69 divided by
Oh, a
4.
case. How many in the case?
Yeah,
24.
24. So it's 287.5
Uh-huh.
a can.
That's,
Damn, there's no money in that.
yeah.
Sorry. The amount of energy, I don't know, talk to the beer guy. See,
Well,
I think those are
I'm just
really good
thinking
for the breweries because
at
they
that
got the can.
price, there's
Yeah,
3-ounce cans
that's
that cost
that's
more
probably
than
going to
that.
be that's probably a $14 to $15 4-pack
Yes.
to the consumer at that price point, which
Yeah.
is what we're seeing around here. That's on the high end. It depends on how strong it is. I'd say for 5%, that's definitely on the high end. If you look at I
Yeah.
hate to compare things to things like carbless, but carbless you're going to see around $11 a 4-pack, at least for us around here. We'll be putting our 5% ABV canned bourbon cocktail is going to be between $9.99 and $10.99, depending on the store.
For the 4-pack?
Will be the shelf price.
For the
I'm
4-pack?
putting
For
mine on there
canned
for
cocktail.
12.99, 13.99. It's a 5% RTD wine-based beverage, 250 ml 4-pack.
250 ml.
And I'll be doing $25 for a 4-pack because mine will be 20% each can.
Wow.
Yeah, there's a distillery here in Milwaukee that makes a can like Wisconsin style old fashioned. They do a bourbon, they do a brandy. They teamed up with Wine and Kugels for it for the flavorings, I guess, and they're stronger. I want to say they're 14 to 15%, and they're $15-$16  4-packs. So at least
Yeah.
from what we see around here, it's the price is really based on how strong that is, but Wisconsin taxes are forced to be reckoned with when it comes to spirits. It's like nothing I've heard of anywhere else. Wisconsin taxes us regardless of proof. So every
What is
bottle
the
of Everclear pays the same taxes as I'm paying on a 5%. It's
Oh,
quite
Even
high. So
that doesn't
what?
seem right. I know.
Yeah,
How is that
because
possible?
no,
yeah.
I know, and it's the way Wisconsin does it. The very first canned cocktail we had here was a company called Artie's. They do a small canned old fashioned, and they sued the state over 8 years ago and lost. So yeah, I mean, I pay on a case of a canned cocktail, I pay $8 in excise taxes for one case. Is going to cost just for Wisconsin excise taxes. It's just short of $8 a case. And then you add the federal excise tax, and I'm about $8 a case just in excise tax.
Yeah, but the
Which is more than
federal
I'm paying for the
excise
bourbon
tax
that
you
goes
should
in
be
there.
paying less
Yeah.
because the FET we reduced and
Correct.
I don't think right. And I think you got
Correct.
like a credit with that. And then
Yeah,
right?
Wisconsin
Yeah.
kills us. Yeah.
The Wisconsin is killing you. That's why I love New York. By the way, I was just up in Albany with we passed another law. It's a brand law here in New York for brands that want to come into New York. Hochul signed it. Now you got to get a brand license, and that money will go to our beverage fund in New York. So that'll help the craft distillers and the beverage fund, the breweries, and everybody else. Because we don't pay, we get money back
right?
in New York.
Because
We
it's
get back
produced
six
if
dollars
it's
and 44
produced in
cents
New
per
York.
gallon.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't pay the state tax. We just get it back. As producers, not bottlers, but as producers. And beer and wine, they don't pay taxes here.
So the brands who get a brand license, do they get any special privileges in terms of placement at New York based bars or anything?
No,
Okay, they just pay
They're
the
gonna
fee.
get the same stuff they was getting
Okay.
without having to pay
Yeah.
the brand.
Okay.
What was happening is the guild. What was happening is that you got all these people coming in and getting the marketing license, when the marketing license was initially for the craft distillers or for the New York brands, but then people took it to another level, so they would just get that and then come in and sell their brands to the store or sell it at at events, because you can sell at the events and make money, and that wasn't the intent. So we were losing out on shelf space for that, and also they weren't paying the taxes. They were getting the benefits that we got. So that's where we changed the law now. So now everybody who's not in New York gotta get a brand license. Just like how you have to do price posting.
Right.
So it's the same thing. You have to get a brand license to be in New York. You're welcome.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, they're not. Yeah. No, I was gonna say, do you have security?
Yeah, it's called a pink 4-4. Stay strapped.
All right. Let's get Francesco a chance to tell us what's new in his world. And I apologize, we never did get to reconnect in Kentucky. I went looking for you, and it was
No worries at all. And I'm very fortunate because I'm understanding and learning a lot by hearing you and your talks. So I'm happy also with that because you are sharing a lot of valuable content to me. I don't know if everybody knows, but I work with Astra in North Carolina. We manufacture bottling and packaging equipment. So we manufacture the machine, and learning about this, it's very interesting.
That's good. So he's learning, he's connecting, it's networking, right?
Yeah.
So you manufacture machines?
Yes, we do. For
What
bottling
kind?
and packaging. So we cover all type of bottles. We do not cover cans as of now. We are developing technology, but not cans. But every type of bottles, from plastic, glass, different size, mignon, up to 1 liter, even taller.
Okay.
So which company are you with? I'm
It's
sorry.
called Axtra, AXTRA. It's an Italian company that opened 3 years ago in Charlotte, North Carolina, another production facility.
Wonderful.
Well,
I'm looking for an ROPP machine. That's what I'm looking for.
Okay.
So if you guys do that, you don't do that, because I don't want to go to China.
Tell me more about what you're looking.
I'll email you. I think we all on the same email list.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Because I'm trying to stay away from China.
Yeah.
But that's really hard.
I know, because unfortunately they're coming. I mean, they have copied in the past and now they have reached a good level. Still, there are fortunately differences, but they are coming.
Okay, and you said Italy, right?
Italy, yes. We have been founded in 2006, so 20 years ago in Italy, and 2 years ago we opened in Pineville, that is in Charlotte, the new production center here in the US.
Okay, I'm gonna send you something, because France is a killer too. They want 50 every machine. It seems like it's the minimum of 50,000. I hope you not like that, because then I'm gonna have to go to China.
You need your own show, Vanessa.
Absolutely. I agree. Hey, Michael, I got to get rolling. It was a pleasure to meet everybody. And even though I was quiet, it was really interesting to listen to everybody and everybody's backgrounds. Vanessa, I'm going to come and visit you. I live near Buffalo, New York.
Oh, you should.
In Long Island. So you 8 hours away.
That's all right. I go down to Long Island all the time. I'm in Manhattan regularly, so I'm going to have to come and see you.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, make sure she's not on a vacation day.
Absolutely.
Right.
Or film it.
She'll get out of her PJs for you.
Yeah.
Right. Make sure you guys see season 8 of Moonshiners Master Distillers. Please don't miss that. I'm on there as a judge.
Oh,
all right.
I'm on the first episode.
When is it hit? Is it on now?
it hit, it hit, and then
Oh, I know, but then
Discovery, you'll see the repeats. Yeah, it's still going on every Tuesday at 9, right after the Moonshiner. And then I'm coming
What's
up.
the
I
name
think
of
I'm
the
on the
show?
last episode. Huh?
What's the name of the show?
Moonshiners Master Distillers.
What is
Oh,
it
Master
on? What
Distillers.
is it
I
on?
knew Moonshiners.
AMC?
Discovery.
Discovery.
Channel.
Okay. All right.
Discovery, yeah, definitely every Tuesday. So now you got to catch up. You'll see me on the first one. I'm on the first and the second. I'm getting ready to film something for Netflix. I'm gonna let y'all know, because I'm gonna need to grab Mike and I'm gonna need to grab Carrie. I gotta create some content with you guys. So I gotta come see y'all.
Yes. Okay. All right. Well, we should definitely include this in the content, right?
We gotta do our own. So I'm just having it edit. It's called $1 Million Distillery.
Oh.
So the me filming the whole thing of my distillery, and then what I'm going to do is visit other distilleries thereafter as a spin-off.
Are you going to be serious, or are you going to be
like
real
John
Vanessa?
Taffer, do distillery rescue?
I'm gonna be me. You know what? That's the other thing I'm gonna do. But after seeing all the beautiful distilleries, but I'm gonna be me.
Okay.
Yeah,
and then
of course you are.
And maybe we're gonna go to China.
Vanessa, I love you.
Vanessa, if you put a blonde wig on, it would be even better. I would, if I need to ship one in the mail, I want that for next month's network meeting. I want Vanessa in a Donald Trump wig.
No wigs. I just got to borrow it from my cousin Tony.
Okay.
That's right.
Somebody else wanted to join us. This is the knucklehead that broke my arm.
I was wondering.
Oh.
You're not even mad at him.
No.
Wait a minute. He's innocent.
Did
He
he
didn't break your arm. You
just
didn't pay attention.
Yeah. Hi, bud. All right. Well, it's my next round of pain meds. I'm going to get off the line, guys.
Yeah, and I thank everybody for jumping in. I know I was late at getting the invite out, but this was robust and bountiful. I don't know if that's thank you all. We'll be back here next month, and in between, Ernesto, I'd like to chat more about what we can do. And Anello, good luck to you, and hopefully you need more barrels soon.
Yeah.
Thank you. We certainly will.
Yeah. So call me, email me, text me, smoke signals, whatever. Let's do it.
And Francesco, I'm going to reach out to you.
Perfect. Yes,
not today, but you mean because I'm
no problem.
Just resting.
I'm going to go back to bed. I'm
yes,
happy Good Friday, y'all.
I'm going to be in Long Island
when?
In a week and a half. I'm there for a family thing, but I think I'm going to have some time, so I'd like to figure. I'll be in touch.
Just come back. I'm not flying anywhere until May, so I'm here. So you can come to the new distillery.
Okay.
And bring some money.
Have great weekends. Enjoy.
Hold up. Bring some money.
For what?
What kind of money do you?
Yeah, exactly.
Buy some stuff.
Oh, well, I can buy some stuff. That's fine. I thought I might, as long as I'm not buying a bottling line from China.
No.
I'm gone. On that note.
No.
Bye.
Bye.
All right, guys.
Ready.